So, what's our most fundamental responsibility? I mean, really, when you boil it all down, it's not just about raising successful kids, is it? It's about passing on the kind of wisdom that allows civilization itself to thrive. Today, we're digging into how we can raise the guides of the future.
Think about it. Every single generation is handed the keys to the world exactly as it is, with all of its beauty and all of its baggage.
But only a select few seem to have that unique combination of wisdom and drive to actually leave it better than they found it.
And then, unfortunately, there are some who make things worse, which, leads us to what might be the most critical question of our time.
This is the real test, isn't it? It's not about whether we raise successful children who can perform well. The real question is, did we raise people capable of being better guides, better parents, and better leaders than we were? Because the problem is, that chain of wisdom, it's often broken. To really understand what that looks like, let's talk about a real-world example. Let's talk about a guy named Anand. I mean, on paper, Anand is the absolute definition of success. He's got the top-tier education, he has global experience, and he's totally respected by his peers, a real high performer in every sense of the word. But then you look at the other side of the coin. When it comes to guiding other people, whether he's being a manager or a parent, the picture just completely changes. He's impatient, he's unclear, he's reactive, he's emotionally distant. And that is the paradox, this huge gap between being a great performer and being a great guide. And Anand's own words just hit the nail on the head. He says, "No one taught me how to guide others, only how to perform." This reveals the core of the issue, doesn't it? A massive gap in his own upbringing. He was trained for personal success, but not for the deeper responsibility of developing others. This is exactly where the chain of wisdom breaks. So how does a gap like this even happen? Well, it often starts with one of two very common ways of raising kids. Let's call the first one the duty-based model. It's built on a really strong foundation of responsibility, but it has a hidden flaw. Now, the strength of this model is its stability. It is excellent at creating clear roles and a powerful sense of duty. Kids learn to respect authority, they see their parents taking responsibility. It creates a very secure environment. But here is the critical mistake. The focus is almost always on replication, on you will do things the way we did, without ever explaining the reasoning behind the rules. See, wisdom without reflection can easily turn into rigidity. And rigidity just doesn't adapt well to a world that's always changing. Okay, now let's look at the complete opposite approach. We'll call this one the leadership-focused model. So if the first model was all about duty, this one is all about dynamism and taking initiative. But you guessed it, it has its own potential blind spot. This approach is absolutely fantastic at building confidence. It encourages kids to have a voice, to take the lead, to see themselves as global citizens, and these are incredibly valuable skills for the modern world, for sure. The pitfall here, though, is often a fear of authority. In an effort to not be too strict, some parents avoid setting any boundaries at all. And what does that create? Confusion. Real leadership needs earned authority. It needs structure. Otherwise, you can end up with a lot of confidence that isn't really grounded in any accountability. So you can see that neither model is really complete on its own. One gives you responsibility without reflection, the other gives you leadership without roots. The solution has to lie in a synthesis, a framework that pulls together the stability of duty with the dynamism of leadership. So let's break this framework down, starting with the internal mindset. It all begins with ethical authority, which means you're not just demanding respect, you're earning it. It requires emotional patience to guide people without getting frustrated and long-term thinking to see past today's crisis. And it's all grounded in a deep respect for continuity and, so importantly, the humility to learn, to know you don't have all the answers. Okay, so next are the actions, the things you do that bring that mindset to life. It's the ability to guide, not control, which is about empowering people instead of micromanaging them. It's taking genuine responsibility for their growth. It's being willing to teach and having the capacity to mentor. And above all, it's a deep, unwavering commitment to improve the next generation. And this quote really gets to the very heart of why this all matters so much. Individual success is fleeting, right? But the transfer of wisdom, that act of guiding and teaching and mentoring, that is what ensures a society actually survives and moves forward. So what does this all mean for you?
How do we take this framework and actually apply it in a practical way? Let's bring it right back to those different upbringings we were just talking about.
So, here's the path forward. If you come from a more duty-based upbringing, your work is to add reflection and adaptability to that strong sense of responsibility you have. And if you come from a more leadership-focused background, your goal is to ground all that great confidence in a deeper sense of duty and accountability. For every single one of us, the key is to synthesize the strengths of both.
And let's just end with this final thought. The goal isn't just to prepare a child for their own life. No. The profound responsibility we all share is to prepare them to one day guide and teach and lead others. That is how we mend that broken chain, and that is how we ensure that the world we pass on is better than the one we inherited.